What upgrades should you do to increase your home's value? Today, we're talking about which ones make the biggest difference with the least amount of out-of-pocket expense. And if you stick with me, I'm going to give you a bonus tip that actually will help you save money in the process of selling a home. If you're interested in learning about more things real estate, growing your real estate business, or having an amazing net life, my name is Alicia, and we talk about these topics every single week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. By the end of this video, you're going to have 8 amazing ways that are simple that you can do to increase your home's value and that I've used with my clients time after time in my 13 years as an agent. Number 1 is fixtures, faucets, and hardware. So this applies to your bathroom and your kitchen, and a lot of people want to tell you, oh, you have to redo them. You have to have a renovation, full renovation of your kitchen and bath. I don't think that's always true. If your vanity or your cabinets are in pretty good shape and you can swap out the faucet, 50 bucks or under, that can make a huge difference, and it can just modernize your bathroom enough to make it have a different appeal. You do that, throw up a shower curtain, the hardware's changed, the knobs. That may be all you need to do to increase the value of that bathroom. Number 2 is downspouts, and this is so close to my heart because this can cause one of the biggest problems for home sellers. If downspouts aren't extended all the way 6 to 10 feet away from the house, I know it seems a lot of people have like 2 to 3 feet, but it's actually 6 to 10 feet away from the house, water can come back into the basement. It actually diverts it back into the basement. And the one thing that buyers like to blow out of proportion is water. If they get any hint of there being any water in the basement, there's no way that we can convince them that it's just the downspouts. They're going to think it's something bigger. So if you can do that and extend the downspouts, not only do you look like a rock star homeowner when they pull up and they're like, oh my gosh, even the downspouts are amazing. And that's something that I, as an agent, would point that out. Like, see, the sellers already have this done, so they're on top of their stuff. That's a huge thing that you can take care of before selling your home that will add value. So number 3 is exterior mojo, I like to call it. So curb appeal is what most people say. There's nothing better when a seller has a really tight edged sidewalk and yard and the mulch is beautiful and they've got fresh flowers. Doesn't have to be expensive, but when you are very particular with your yard, it gives the buyer an impression. They're like, man, this person really takes care of things. And when they walk into your house, that perceived feeling that they have about your house carries on once they walk in the door, and they're already going to have that set up. You'll set them up properly as they come in the house because the outside was so well taken care of. This also includes caulking around doors and windows on the exterior and any mortar around the house or sidewalk that might need to take place. That's not a big deal to do before the sale, and you can do it yourself. If you're amazing and you do mulch nicely around the house, make sure you pull it away from the actual house a few inches and don't stack it up too high, more than 3 to 4 inches. It just needs a thin layer, and it's one of those things that comes up on home inspections that the mulch is too high and it's a breeding ground for termites, so people tend to get a little icky about that. Number 4 is adding more light, and this could be anything from adding a couple of lamps, increasing the wattage in the light bulbs if it's allowed, or if you have it in your budget, recessed lighting. Anything that helps bring more light to your house makes your home look bigger, and it makes the perceived square footage bigger, which means more value to a buyer. Number 5 is paint and decluttering. I didn't put paint as number 1 because I thought that that's something that you hear most often, but it really can transform an entire space. Just the right colors and having fresh paint with your trim painted if it needs to be, and just decluttering, which you know how to do that. Paint and decluttering is one of those things that have the highest ROI. It costs hardly anything, but it really increases the value. Have you ever walked into a house and it had a color that made you feel like you were at home? What color is that? I'm so curious to know. Let me know in the comments below. Number 6 is opting for wood or laminate instead of carpet if you have the option. If you're going to replace your carpet anyway, just check the price difference between a nice laminate or a hardwood floor depending on what market you're in, because it makes a difference. If you're a luxury home, laminate is probably not going to fly. So just check the pricing because it may not be that much more to just go for the laminate or the hardwood, and that makes the house look bigger because all of the flooring will be streamlined, and it's very appealing to buyers right now. Number 7 is deferred maintenance. So any of those things that you've been meaning to get to and have been on a list but you haven't gotten to yet, these are the times to do that. So anything like a light plate switch cover that just needs to be tightened, or a door that, you know, is a little crooked now and you meant to retighten it to put it back up. Anything like that is the stuff that you want to do, because it just makes your house seem so crisp and that you've taken such good care of everything. They kind of give you extra credit for that stuff, and it just shows so well to a buyer. The perceived value goes up. Number 8 is staging, but don't freak out. I'm not talking about very expensive staging, which you could totally do and opt for. I'm talking about light staging, and it's stuff that I keep on hand that I can stage a client's house with, but you can do it too yourself. So talking small things like fresh towels, inexpensive towels from any store that you can go to. Fresh, new towels show different than towels that have even been washed once. And a little trick is if you can get them with the ribbon on the front, don't take that off, just put those right on the towel bars. It will make your house look so crisp and clean and give that feeling of freshness and newness. And also towels for the bathroom, towels for the kitchen, new floor mat or welcome mat for the front door, and any little things like a little picture or a little recipe that you can hang in the kitchen, something that makes them feel like home without it feeling like your home, because people will pay more when they can picture themselves in your house. Here's the bonus that could end up saving you money, and maybe a lot of money. So a pre-listing inspection is something you may want to consider. So before you get the house on the market, you might want to pay an inspector, and in my market, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, $300 or so for a pre-listing inspection, for an inspector to come and look at the house and kind of figure out, is there anything that another inspector might see? What's wrong with the house that you can fix now before a buyer gets into the house? Because once a buyer gets into the house, that one small $100 fix becomes in their mind $400, $500, $600, because it's unknown for them. So they automatically overestimate. And if it's something that you can fix yourself, like patching a wall, it's going to cost you way less than when you're in contract and you have to have a licensed contractor do something like that. So I highly recommend looking at that as an option if you think it would be beneficial to you. And you can choose to give that inspection to the buyer if you want. They may choose to not have an inspection at that point or take the house as is. Or you can keep it for yourself, just knowing that your house is really buttoned up and you've taken care of everything ahead of time. So it's going to take less time, less stress, and perhaps less money in the long run if you do that. Now that you know what upgrades to do to your house to get the most amount of money, if you're interested in learning about what it costs to sell a home or what a seller contribution is, we have videos for both of those that could be helpful. Just check them out below and we'll link them here. If you've enjoyed our time together today and the video is helpful for you, please give it a like and hit the subscribe button so we can talk again about real estate.